Good evening, September 6th, 2025. This is Nate McMurray recording the Sound of Niagara podcast to my friends and everybody else in Southern Ontario, Western New York, the Niagara region, and happy to be here with you. We're going to talk about the ice raid at the Hyundai plant. We're going to talk about the Ministry of Defense turning into the Ministry of War, and a couple other things that are on my mind, including a little Cindy Sweeney and the continuing fallout from her advertisement. All right, let's just jump right in, shall we? To a New York Times piece on a job fair for ICE. Here we go.
Fair for ICE. I want to talk to folks and see who wants to be a deportation officer and why.
I'm a college student, recently graduated.
A former flight attendant.
I did 8 years in the Marine Corps.
Doors haven't even opened yet, and already there's a line of more than 100 people waiting to get in. ICE saw this event advertised on ICE's social media account. The benefits they're offering are pretty extensive. There's an up to $50,000 signing bonus, $60,000 in student debt reduction, up to 25% overtime rate. The Trump administration...
When I see that, I think, well, that's why people are signing up, because people need cash and a purpose. Maybe if our political parties offered that beyond just vilifying and attacking your neighbors for cash, there would be no one at this line. Who wants to do this except for someone who needs money? I mean, $50,000, that's a lot of money. I bet you might be thinking out there right now, maybe I could be an ICE officer. I mean, they're taking anyone. You don't need a college education. You don't need anything. They're trying to create the biggest police force, a federal police force against the Constitution that has a broad mandate to basically attack anybody the administration deems unworthy of being here, including, as we'll see in a second, people that have legal status in America. Even citizens are being detained. Permanent residents are being locked up for hours, if not days. You want to be part of that? Oh, boy, there's more to life than money.
The administration is adding tens of billions of dollars to the budget and is trying to make immigration enforcement really the center of law enforcement in this country right now. This is the East Sports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It's usually a space for gamers. Today, ICE is hiring for a variety of different positions. The lines have been the longest for deportation officers. That has the lowest bar to entry. College degree is not necessarily required.
I mean, they're trying to make an under-trained brown shirts, official brown shirts of the U.S. government to attack people. Now you're going to say, well, there's not everybody who's signing up is a racist, Nate. Of course not. But you're being used for racist purposes.
And ICE is trying to hire 10,000 deportation
Un-American purposes.
officers. The signage behind me says, defend the homeland. What were the attractions of working for ICE?
I'm very patriotic.
Guarding America, guarding the homeland.
When I saw Uncle Sam pointing that finger, just had it in my heart. And you're thinking, look at this guy. He's an immigrant. He wants to become a deportation officer. Doesn't make any sense to you. Makes 100% sense to me.
Me too. $50,000 is a lot of money for a signing bonus.
We're seeing a bit of the speed and scale that the Trump administration is trying to move at. They're moving people in and out assembly line style. They're offering drug testing on site, and they're even saying that you could walk out of here with a tentative offer letter to start a new job at ICE.
I was able to get an offer today. I accepted, and then I went and did all my process, my fingerprinting and my drug testing. Background check is next.
This is for a federal job. I mean, I'm not saying the federal system is efficient, and maybe this is the way we should hire in general. But, I mean, this is going to be someone who is going to immediately start working on the deportation of folks. And you can see in a second how that's being carried out in America.
Next, and then, of course, training.
There's a lot of criticism of ICE and its tactics in enforcing immigration law. You can hear the protesters behind me shouting at applicants as they walk in. calling them Nazis and fascists.
I don't think they're Nazis. I think a lot of them are victims of a country that doesn't value its citizens anymore, doesn't value anybody anymore. They need money. Let's be honest. It's a lot of money for a federal job with federal benefits. I mean, it's tempting unless you're independently wealthy. But remember what you're signing up for. It's a Faustian bargain. You're selling your soul.
And even identifying them by name. They're looking up people's license plate numbers.
That's not cool.
So are you worried about being called a Nazi?
You know, I don't mind risking my freedom to safeguard yours.
How are you risking your
become
freedom?
kind of a really polarizing
All right.
agency.
Is this a father and son? You can't fight together.
It reflects the big divides within America. It's a flashpoint for how people feel about Trump's mass deportation.
Listen, I don't know. I'm proud of people protesting, but the way to protest is not to humiliate people. I mean, do I think that you should join ICE? No. I think that ICE is engaged in unlawful activity all over the world, but maybe that doesn't matter to you so much when you need some money to pay your mortgage or something. And maybe if our government and both parties were more interested in helping working people, you wouldn't see this type of desperation manipulated in such a twisted way. It's sad. Moving on now to the Hyundai raids.
All yours.
Video filmed inside the plant shows armed Homeland Security agents executing.
So to set this up, this is what we're watching here. So Hyundai has invested, get this, $12 billion, nearly $13 billion in Georgia. Now you might think, oh, who cares? They all do that. No, they don't. This is the single largest investment for EV manufacturing in the country. Bigger than Tesla, bigger than everybody, bigger than GM. This is a huge investment. And so now they've gone into this factory, not after criminals. I mean, you can say, well, the criminals or anybody who violates the immigration process. You understand some of these people detained were legal residents, if not citizens, and some of them were on visa waiver status according to their attorneys. This is the criminals you were talking about, people who were helping construct a plant that's going to employ thousands of Americans? That's the criminals you were talking about? I thought we were talking about rapists and murderers, not people here on technical violations of picayune immigration policies that change by the day. Are you kidding me? Just watch this.
Search warrant Thursday.
We need construction to cease immediately. We need all work to end on the site right now.
Officers can be seen outside, rounding up hundreds of workers in yellow vests. Nearly 500 people were arrested. The majority were South Korean nationals. U.S. officials said all had either entered the country illegally, overstayed their visas, or were not authorized to work. Stephen Schrank is the special agent in charge.
Yeah, this guy looks like he works hard. What a hard worker he must be. I mean, these are people that are building a $12 billion with a B dollar project. That's foreign money coming in the United States to build a plant. Now, am I certain that some of them here were in violation of visas? God forbid. That the way to handle that is to send a bunch of idiot guys in with bulletproof vests, rounding up and humiliating our trading partner and longtime ally. I don't think some of y'all know this, so I'll tell you. The Koreans fought with us in Vietnam. I think by the numbers in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands. So many Koreans died alongside us in Vietnam. The Koreans didn't have a stake in that war. We were asked to go, or we asked them to go, and they went. Now, the Americans have spent billions of dollars defending South Korea, no doubt. But who have they defended it with? Who have they defended democracy, the front line of democracy with? With Koreans, with Korean people. And they have a phrase there in Korea, kachi kapshida. That's what they say. The U.S. military says that. That's the official phrase of our alliance with South Korea. That means let's go together. Let's go together. And every time you go to an event between the South Koreans and the American military, you'll see some American military guy up there like, kachi kapshida. Like that's the, with his foreign accent. But not to say that I don't have some element of a foreign accent, but it is part of the culture that we are together, standing against democracy. But here we are. They're building a $12 billion plant. I just got done telling you it's the biggest plant of its size or of its type ever in the United States. And they got a few people there that are past their visas because, you know, they brought in some of their own guys or subcontractors did because they want to get this thing done on time. And the answer is to round them up. That's really what you thought Trump was talking about when he said we're going to get the worst out of here. The worst you thought was some random construction engineer from South Korea who overstayed his visa to get a project done to invest in America. I mean, you got to be kidding. And they're so proud.
Together, we are sending a clear and unequivocal message that those who exploit our workforce, undermine our economy,
undermine your backward rural Georgian economy. I mean, give me a break.
And violate federal laws will be held accountable.
The massive $7.6 billion battery plant.
That's one plant, by the way. There's multiple plants being built. The total cost, I looked it up, is like $12 billion at least.
Between South Korean companies LG and Hyundai covers nearly 3,000 acres and is the largest economic project in Georgia's history.
The largest economic project in Georgia history, and they're talking about exploiting our economy. It is disgusting. These people are disgusting and stupid. It's just not smart. It's not good business. These, you know, backcountry idiots.
Georgians, I want to thank you for
3 years ago, Governor Brian Kemp welcomed its opening. Authorities alleged the plant had been under investigation for what it said were illegal practices for months.
There's helicopters, Humvees, Georgia State Police.
What a waste of money. How about just going in there and talking to the manager? I know this is just, okay, moving on. Again, this is what you thought of when Trump said he's going to take out the bad guys. You thought of some engineer from South Korea trying to build the biggest investment in Georgian history. You thought of getting rid of him. I heard a guy say, well, I want to join us because I saw these memes about the stupid, what are they talking about? The Indian people making fun of us because they're taking our tech jobs. I'm like, if they're here in America on a tech visa, they're here legally. And if they're making fun of you, that's not against the law. If they're saying, hey, I got a job in Silicon Valley because I'm here on a visa, maybe be mad at our education system or mad at the company, but you know, they're here legally. You're not going to be able to join ICE to get rid of someone who's here legally. All right. Moving on. All right. Yeah, I'm loath to talk about this, but I will. So this is a guy, I think his name is Jack Mack. I talked about him last time. He's from Barstool Sports. You know, that organization owned by that very small man, Dave Portnoy, who does pizza reviews. And this Jack Mack guy is making fun of people who criticized Sydney Sweeney ad. Now, I don't really care about the Sydney Sweeney ad. I thought it was just stupid. I didn't understand what it was trying to say. It was certainly interpreted to say that white jeans are superior. Not by Sydney Sweeney, by the MAGA community online. They were like, isn't it great that white... And then the backlash by the Gap ad, which was intentional or unintentional, I don't even know, with the girl group Cat's Eye singing Milkshake. And, you know, they're like, it's better than yours, which is, you know, an implied that, hey, maybe women of color are quote unquote better than white girls. It's all stupid because we're all people. But the pride that the MAGA community is taking in the sexuality of Sydney Sweeney is something to behold. Here we go.
White women's jeans. And then this fellow right here, who's made a handful of videos about me. He's one of my biggest fans. Thank you for your.
So this guy tears apart
he made a video trying to dunk
this Mac.
All right, so let's talk about Jack Mack. Let's talk about Barstool Sports, and let's talk about the 48-year-old tiptoe tyrant himself, Little Davey. The tiptoe tyrant is not only a guy who joked about rape, but he's a guy who said he hopes that a 22-year-old bringing aid to a starving population's boat gets hit by a missile. This is the man you work for, Jack, and I'm curious if you're aware how truly embarrassing that is. You work for him as a journalist, so let's try to get an understanding of what type of journalist you are. Some of the hard-hitting topics you cover personally, Jack, are rumors about 19-year-old freshmen at the University of Mississippi, right? Now, the rumor started on X when Pat
I'm just going to let this guy speak for himself.
$3.2 million
he does a great job.
Pat McAfee's a 38-year-old that acts like he's 22 and
Looks like he's 52. The woman who this affected says this completely changed her life. She said she thought it was absolutely ridiculous an ESPN sports broadcaster would be talking about a 19-year-old girl's sex scandal that was completely false. Another hard-hitting journalist, KFC Barstool, took a break from cheating on his pregnant wife to share a video about the incident to his personal account, and then you, Jack, put up a post on X that had a meme coin that contained her name. And that's you promoting a made-up story about a 19-year-old girl that has nothing to do with you, simply for clout and views. She got death threats, her mom was swatted, many other things occurred. I would assume a lawyer asked you to put out the most generic, heartless apology I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why this is exceptionally relevant to this video, because it has to do with my main point from the video I made to you, because it has to do with how y'all view women. Jack, by the way, you said I tried to dunk on you. This is an account with 1 million followers, and this was an account with 100,000. So you were decidedly dunked on because the points you made were absolutely ridiculous. The moment you waited for to get your revenge was the American Eagle earnings report. As you can see, their stock has returned to the level of mediocrity it was at 1 year ago, actually down 44 cents from that moment. And the thing is, American Eagle, despite the momentary stock boost, is still a dead, irrelevant company. To get back to the point of my original video, you like to view Sydney Sweeney as a blow-up doll for corporations to use, and when she stops looking the way she does, you will turn your back on her and you will mock her. You and all the other MAGA people that align with you. But the thing is, even right now, when you like how Sydney Sweeney...
I'm going to stop it in a second. I'm trying to let it go on. I'm doing two things at once, but I mean, this Jack Mack guy is literally in love with Sydney Sweeney. Every day he's like posting about her and how much she's like this ideal person, and everyone is just jealous. I mean, it's weird. The guy, she should get a restraining order. So here, keep going here.
Looks, you don't go support her career. Sydney Sweeney had 2 of the biggest box office bombs of the decade, back to back. Spent $50 million on this movie and it made $2 million. I'm curious, Jack, will you be pushing your audience to go check out her new movie where she portrays a queer woman in Christy Martin? When it comes to MAGA, is this an acceptable look for Sydney Sweeney for you guys? How much money do you think this will make? Will her newfound fan base from her American Eagle ads go watch her movie? That was the primary point I was making, and you thought you were doing something by talking about irrelevant stock movement. It's funny because...
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a successful ad because it became a cultural flashpoint and whatever. I mean, the fact that the weirdness about it is how obsessed they are over Sydney Sweeney's body. It became a source of like white identity. And I think, for all the talk, the MAGA folks do about how we're too sensitive racially and we have these, that the left is obsessed with race. They're obsessed with race. Case in point, I'm going to go forward for a second here to a video they were very upset about. Give me a second. Okay, this is the Drewski whiteface video that the MAGA, they tried to make a thing out of it. It really didn't happen. Drewski is a black comedian. He dressed up as a white guy and did some stereotypical redneck stuff, like go to a NASCAR thing. Here we go.
Don't kill us, pussy must. Here's the love, here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her.
Okay, well, didn't think it was going to go there. So that's Drewski, okay, and he's a black man. Look him up if you need to, but and he can be mildly funny. I mean, I'm not my favorite guy in the world, but he's all right. But this is funny, and not really funny, but the makeup on it is quite amazing, isn't it? I mean, like you would never think he's wearing a costume of some sort. Now, this has been like an issue for years, right? There's the famous SNL skit. Have you seen the SNL skit from years and years ago where Eddie Murphy dressed up as a white guy? And it's playing off of other studies and incidences where men dressed as black people to try to experience what life is through black eyes. And there's been takes on this over the years. They weren't so sensitive and a little off, like the movie Soul Man. Remember that from the 80s where the guy wants to get a scholarship, so he dresses up as a black guy? Sort of. He takes black pills. It's a weird movie. We are... so what's the difference? I guess, what can I get down? What's the difference? What's the difference between a black guy portraying a white guy, like Drewski is here, and portraying stereotypes about a certain demographic of white people, versus a black guy, versus a white guy dressing in blackface. Both are to mock, you could argue, right? Well, I'll tell you, it's pretty simple. You think Drewski's in danger? You think he's in danger by doing this? He's in danger because he revealed that he did it. But do you think that dressing up as a white redneck is going to put him in danger? But if it doesn't, and no one is in danger because of this. It may be a little hurtful. That's a stretch. I don't think anyone was hurt, but it comes down to power, and what power basically means is risk. It's risk. It's also, if you see incidences of white people adopting what they perceive as black identity, it's usually to humiliate or to categorize. Case in point, I saw this the other day. There's a movie came out in 2018. I never heard of this movie, but I saw someone mocking it online, and I couldn't believe it was real. It makes whatever was happening in Soul Man seem mild. Here it is.
A white guy pretends to be a black woman on the radio in this crazy conservative movie.
My name is Loquisha. My mama, she called me Loquisha.
Yeah. Trigger warning. This is hard to watch, but we're going to go through it because this is the stuff that MAGA is watching.
She's Loquisha. She said, I have the gift of gab.
The film's called Loquisha from 2019, and it is breathtakingly dumb and racist.
After all these years, white people are the slaves.
Uh-huh.
How you like that?
I mean, that seems like the point that so many of these MAGA people want to say is that, oh, there's really just reverse discrimination. And that it's horrible to be a white person today. Listen, I'm white. I don't ever experience discrimination.
That's not all. We've got bad homophobic jokes.
I don't even know how to tell you this.
Well, what is it? Are you gay?
Transphobia.
Are you sure that you're not feeling like you're a woman trapped in a man's body?
And even a little promotion of domestic violence for good measure.
What's your problem? You gonna give me a conniption, boy?
Well, it's my girlfriend.
All right, next time she do something you don't like, slap her.
Disclaimer, this film is vile. I hate it.
So it's, again, Drewski portraying stereotypes of rednecks. How is that different than this? Well, it paused. Well, I'll say that before I go. Again, this guy is categorizing all black women as what he perceives these broad stereotypes are. Drewski is being a goof and stupid, but it doesn't really hurt, does it? Did you really cry or feel sad or felt that this was limiting who you could be as a person because you saw him portray a redneck NASCAR guy? Do you think redneck NASCAR guys at home felt discomfort and felt like they were being unfairly prejudiced and labeled for all time and eternity to be limited in their potential as a human being? I don't think so. 1 second. Do I really want to keep watching this? Yeah, I might as well. I mean, listen, it gets even more outrageous if you can believe it. Here we go.
Now let's begin. We first meet our main character, Joe, a bartender who is known for giving his guests the best no-nonsense advice. Soon a woman walks into the bar frustrated at men because of a bad experience with her boyfriend.
You know, it would be so refreshing if you guys would just tell the truth.
All right, now let's hear some of that wise advice from our charming leading man.
Well, I'll give you some truth. You're a idiot.
Okay.
We may have missed the mark a little on that one, but let's try again, Joe.
You lying, morally reprehensible creature with a...
All right, we should probably just move on. Later, his ex-wife tells him that his son scored unusually high on a test and needs to attend a special school.
$13,000 a semester?
Now strapped for cash, Joe tries out for a radio job but doesn't make the cut because...
They want women and minorities. They don't want white guys like me.
So Joe does what any red-blooded alpha male American...
How many women or minorities are on local radio here in Western New York? Any? Unless they're, I guess there's some community stations or NPR may have some people of diverse backgrounds. On any of the commercial stations that you regularly listen to, is it some overdominance of black and brown voices? I don't think so.
Would do.
If I was a black woman, I'd be perfect.
He records a fake conversation with himself posing as a black woman to send to the radio station. And for some reason, it does work as the radio executives are smitten by this hilarious demo reel.
Listen to this.
You live with Loquisha. My name's Ted. Ted Ronald dead. You sound dead inside.
She's brilliant.
There's just one problem, the job interview.
So,
What's up? We got a deal, LaQuisha. You start next Monday.
Oh, so they just give him the job without ever meeting in person? Now looking for some help with his new radio show, Joe hits up his one black friend.
Do you think they're hiring a black woman? You're not some kind of transgender, transracial, cross-cultural dresser, are you?
All right, listen.
Imagine that your main concern is that he's
Listen, I could go on. This goes on for a while. He ended up saying he's a better black woman than black women. And he continues to do the show as a black woman, even when it gets exposed. It's horrible. Just looked it up, though. The good news is it has a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, making it one of the worst films of the decade. All right. And there's apparently no box office data that I can find on this movie. So, the people have spoken. All right. Now I have to shift gears into something truly horrible. I'm sorry to do this. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I just did it by accident. That's how I guess it happens for these people too. Gaza situation. I mean, let me just show you this real quick. If you want to get mad at me or look away, I show something every week. Look at this. This is a commercial residential property in the middle of the day. One of the most iconic buildings the left in Gaza. It's just they throw a missile into it and take the whole thing down. That is a war crime right there. That's it. They say that people were warned on social media a few minutes before the attack. Good luck getting out of there or making sure you're watching your TikTok at the right time. With no internet, by the way. There's no internet in Gaza. Did you see that? I'm going to show it one more time because it's so astonishing. And it's right by a refugee camp. Here it goes again. A missile right into a commercial or a residential building. Here's the missile. Boom. That's unbelievable. I mean, it's scary that they're doing this without any type of repercussions or any type of pushback.
Are you aware?
All right. Briefly talk about the MAHA movement. Make America Healthy Again. I've been talking about it a lot lately because it's insane stuff. Basically, this gentleman here, he's a critic of the Trump stuff. He's pretty on top of things. His name is, I can't remember. I can't say his last name. Stuart, Rojstaczzer. I didn't know who he was before. So if I should know who he is, I apologize. I don't. He seems to be pretty with it, though. But here, watch his little video I saw.
Another one of these new members, Dr. Levy, wrote that, quote, evidence is mounting and indisputable that mRNA vaccines cause serious harm, including death, especially among young people. Yes or no? Are you aware that he said that?
I wasn't aware he said it, but I think I agree with it.
That was Robert F. Kennedy today at a Senate hearing denying the value of vaccines. The head of our nation's health doesn't believe in vaccines. The head of our nation's health, let's call it what it is trying to kill us. The MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again, that Robert F. Kennedy is promoting, is Orwellian. It's not trying to make us healthy. It's trying to cull the herd. It's a eugenicist movement. That's exactly what it is.
I play this because not to start some conspiracy theory, but I remember dealing with people at the height of this. I was dealing with some people in the legal community, and they were at the height of COVID openly saying maybe it's time for us to call the herd. They maybe all these lazy people need to die. Maybe those who can't afford healthcare need to go away. I mean, it was those things were said publicly, openly. What do I think of Robert Kennedy? I don't know. I'm speculating here, but based on what I do know about human nature, I think he's a sicko. I think a guy that puts a dead corpse of a rotting whale on his family car is a sicko. I think the fact that he had weird dead body parts in his basement and he showed no direct interest in healthcare or biology or some sort. It's weird. It's really creepy. I think the fact that he took arguably is taking steroids, and he's definitely took heroin because he admits to it and says it was great for years. It's weird that guy is running our healthcare agencies. I think that his mantra of we don't need Medicare or Medicaid, just start working out is weird. I mean, that's essentially what they're preaching. I think he's a scary guy, and I think he may have truly malevolent intent, meaning he's smiling at you, but he really just wants people to die. I can't help but think that. What would a normal being or person who saw a dead bear or in the road? I had a friend who was like weird like this when I was growing up. And he was a rich kid. He was a rich guy. But like he would feel an interest in buddy, what are you doing? He'd feel an interest of like picking up roadkill and stuff. And we'd be like, are you sick? Like he'd pick up, one time he brought home a dead deer. He's like, I'm going to eat it. I'm like, you're going to die. Are you messed in the head? And I get the same vibe from RFK Jr. Like he's a real psycho. Like why would he do those things? And then beyond that, like he's just like you or me. He knows we don't have polio anymore. You can go to graveyards and see when we started using vaccines, there's no child graves anymore. He knows this. Why would he want to get rid of vaccines? You think he really thinks it's a threat to our health? The mRNA vaccine? Who's dead? Where are the dead bodies? Like, where are the piles and piles of dead bodies that were supposed to have been caused by the mRNA vaccine? Give me a break. He's a real sick guy. All right, going on.
I'm not.
So Tucker Carlson on his podcast just called Putin the greatest leader of his lifetime. Watch this.
Moving to Russia, but Putin has been the most effective leader in my lifetime. I can't think of a more effective one.
He's been a very stable leader for Russia.
But why is he more evil than Joe Biden?
Yeah, well,
I can't even conceptualize that.
Because he's committing war crimes, Tucker. Because he's killing the civilians and letting his soldiers rape them. Because he's sending his own people he's lost like 1 million casualties of Russian soldiers that mostly were sent from the Far East. He is he's been engaged in wars since he was first in power, from Chechnya and firebombing Chechnya and beyond. His country's economy is garbage. It's just a giant gas station, as they say. It's a common phrase. It's a big gas station. There's nothing else there. It's entirely dependent on the sale of fossil fuels. He's the best leader of our lifetime. What is wrong with the Republic? I think it's just all major grift. I think it's grift. I think all this stuff, the MAGA stuff, is grift. They for whatever reason, they're people that are the base of that group are kind of desperate, and they know that the desperate people are subject to exploitation. And so they do the grift. And for Tucker, he wants to cozy up to the guy who makes oligarchs with a snap of his fingers. Putin is the best leader of your lifetime internationally? Are you kidding me? You grew up in the era of Nelson Mandela. I mean, that's just inspirational. Let's say he wasn't a good leader. If you're going to argue me that the country has major challenges, but he's a better leader than, I could go through hundreds of people that are better leaders than this guy. And Putin is arguably the worst leader of our lifetime, and that includes like Kim Jong-un, who massacres children and families. That includes many others that have done horrible things. Come on, moving on. Okay, Pete Hex says take over the Department of Defense. We're almost done, by the way, guys. Thanks for being with me here.
1949, the United States has had a Department of Defense. Now, President Trump and Pete Hegseth, the boss of the Pentagon, want to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War, which is what it was for most of America's early history. This is a really bad idea for a lot of reasons. First, war isn't the only thing the Pentagon does. National defense, and this is what the people who created the Defense Department understood after World War II, is a daily job. It's not just about sending troops to places to kill people and then come home. National defense.
All right. Nobody calls, China doesn't call they don't have a Ministry of War. No one has a Ministry of War. Russia doesn't. No country does. It's defense. Because it's about, the reason you wage war is not conquest, it's defense. But I think that Trump wants to go to an age of conquest. The thing he doesn't get is, didn't he run like the Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. wing of the party? Weren't they like anti-war? But now you're going to create the Ministry of War and expand it? Where's your heart and soul, Tulsi? I thought you were the anti-war candidate. But you're going to be the guy who's like all for like offensive war as a policy of the United States? I mean, you want to send our kids to do conquest around the world? Is that what this is about? And it looks like to me that Trump is going to try to invade Venezuela to cancel the midterm elections. Maybe he won't, but he seems to be implying, hey, if Zelensky can cancel the elections during a time of war, I can too. And right now, these fighter jets are buzzing U.S. Navy ships in the Atlantic. And you might think, well, who cares? Well, are you sure that we're not going to lose troops during that? Are you sure we're prepared for that conflict? I don't know if we are. You think about fighting, even if you're fighting someone you think you're far outmatched, they can get a good swing in and take your eye out. I mean, fighting is never easy, especially when war is many, many multiples more dangerous and more unpredictable than a fight. It is a war. And yes, the Pentagon wages war, but we thought we waged war to defend our nation's interests, not to assert our dominance over the world. And maybe that's a naive way to look at it, but I think that it's going to be pretty hard to sell domestically when you want to raise money for more war and then also claim that you're the team that wants to stop forever wars. It's just a weird. I think it shows the hollowness of the MAGA movement. But I'm afraid that they're going to try to cancel elections. Maybe not this election, but certainly the next election by picking an easy opponent like a Venezuela, and or relatively easy opponent like Venezuela, and saying because of the obligations of that war, we can't have an election. Beyond that, and listen, we can protest. We should protest, but it feels like I've been protesting for 10 years. And many of you have too, but we have to continue. We don't have, what choice do we have? Continue to protest. Boy. All right. What do I want for those listening to this who hate me and are pro-MAGA? I want a country that is prosperous, full of people working with future. Look, I always tell you my policy points, what I want for our country. And what I want for our country is certainly not war. All right.
The Burger King Halloween.
Oh, something fun. Burger King has its Halloween menu out. I like these Halloween stuff, so here we go. This is a little fun thing I thought I'd share.
Menu leaked. Let's talk about it. So we have 5 items here, and most of them look to be fairly new for this year, except for the first ones, which are the Mummy mozzarella fries. These are just their regular mozzarella fries, dressed in a mummy costume, except for the vampire nuggets, which
are you gonna eat those?
Bats and fangs shaped nuggets in
yum.
a coffin. Okay,
yummy.
With Dracula peeking out of the side of it. And next up is the Franken candy sundae. This is
yum.
creamy soft serve topped with a Franken mix of Oreo cookie crumbles.
I'll take
and
it.
A purple Franken candy syrup. And
RFK Jr. is gonna be mad at me.
Halloween bucket. I don't know if that's gonna be nationwide or not, since this is a leak.
The truth is, I will not eat any of this, but my kids will probably ask me to take them, and I probably will. All right. Talk to you soon. Let me be positive. Keep your chin up, okay? There's more of you than you think there are. There's a lot of people that are angry. Things tend to change very quickly in politics. What seems impossible one day is very possible the next day. So keep your legs moving. Big football game tomorrow. Football metaphor I always use in politics is if you're in that pile and you're getting smashed, got to keep your legs moving. You might be able to get a few more yards. You might be able to break free. Keep going, everybody. Be positive. All right? All right. Talk to you soon.